Women have an unfair advantage. This is something, to me, that is quite clear and quite evident, but unfortunately, I do not think the world, and I do not think women, talk about this problem enough. If anything, it's actually the inverted version of that, where women will complain about the rights that they don't have, or how oppressed they are, when, to be completely honest with you, this just seems like a delusion to me. A falsified that women have painted onto themselves, that they have learned to naturally sway towards, and a lot of young women even have this mindset against men from the...
No, this is not a delusion. What are you talking about? This is true, bro. They lack rights in many countries. Like they don't have the right for education. They don't have the right to work. I have no idea what you're talking about.
time that they can begin to have their first free thoughts. And it's really because, social media, society, everything...
Yeah, but this is an example of why it's unfair. Look how many subscribers. Right. Look how many subscribers, right? Just because she's a female, right? Almost have the same amount of videos. I ain't even got 500 subscribers. But of course, this is unfair. Who thinks this is fair? It was never fair to begin with, right?
programs, these people,
All these
girls,
motherfuckers, bro. The reason why they come in the video is because she's a female. That's why you're trying to get the attention. Fucking idiots. And she doesn't even care about these motherfuckers. Look at this. You see, bro? Get the fuck out of here, man. Fucking simp ass motherfuckers, bro. You ain't getting no attention, bro. You're trying to comment on the video. It's like you're engaging and stuff, bro. Like, it's all about the person in the video. It has nothing to do with the content of the video itself. Because just from the few minutes, like the first few minutes, what she said is not true. You're talking about no, women's lack of rights is an illusion. What fucking illusion? What are you talking about? Real problem. Like, what are you talking about? I mean, they are favored in some things like social media and all that, but in real life, there are many problems they face as well. I mean, we cannot ignore that. Let's be honest.
to think this way, to act this way, to think so against men, because as I've mentioned and as we should all know, the system wants to divide.
Bro, one thing I gotta say is that this idea of division between men and women is mostly like a Western idea. This is not common where I live. Like there is no hatred like the way it is in the West, you know, especially with this new like, I say with this Gen Z, with this, I'm saying Alpha Gen, bro. Like these are the people who are pushing this idea, like currently. But that stuff doesn't is not common where I live. Like if you gotta hate on someone, you gotta hate on humanity as a whole because human nature is like what I'm saying is one. You know what I'm saying? So there are many flaws in all humans. When you're talking about nature, there is no like fixed male nature or female nature. It depends on the person, right? But there is human nature. The thing that unites all humans. Like if you gotta hate on something, you gotta hate on human nature. With all its limitations, with all its flaws.
Between men and women. And there's plenty of talk criticizing men for how they contribute to the divide. But I don't think, and I don't hear myself, enough talk from women on this topic. And we are a huge part of the problem. It's not just men. So let's not talk about that. I'm not talking about men's problems because I'm not a man. And yes, I can articulate some thoughts on...
Of course, their biggest problem is their insecurity, bro. Like, one thing I gotta say, bro, like, if you're confident, bro, you almost automatically get respect. It doesn't matter, like, your status. I mean, these things matter, but confidence plays a huge role. We're talking about significance, right? Confidence plays a huge role. Like, the way you portray yourself, bro, if you portray yourself as a god, then people gonna treat you well, bro. Even if you're not a god, because perception doesn't have to. I do think of myself as a god, but that doesn't mean I should be a god because perception doesn't have to conform to reality. But when you think of yourself as the greatest possible being, then you could feel great, right? It works with me, at least, because I'm not putting limitations on myself. But when you put limitations on yourself, no, I'm like this, no, I cannot achieve this, I cannot. Then reality, you know what I'm saying, it does affect reality in some way because you know what I'm saying, you are restricting what you can do based on those limitations, based on those perceived limitations. I mean, in reality, we got limitations, but you can think of yourself as unlimited. I mean, it does work with me. As I say, perception doesn't automatically shape reality. You need the effort, you need the environment, you need to do the work. Because potential is just a concept. If it's not realized, then it doesn't mean nothing. Like, I mean, everybody got good potential with the ideal conditions, with the right environment, with the good psychology, with the right effort, with the right strategy. But the problem is that whether this potential is realized or not. A lot of people like who are like, you know what I'm saying, low inhibition. They don't think much. They just do the work. They're not constantly analyzing the scenarios. Think of ISO speed, for example. Like the dumbass idiot, bro. I gotta say this, but the dude, like, he's just doing whatever comes to his mind. Y'all think now he's social, no, he's just an idiot. Like, he doesn't think, he has no problem, you know? He just does things. Whatever crosses his mind, he does it. He doesn't think, oh, people will think this about me, this. You get what I'm saying? This is a problem. Y'all think now this dude is really like the bro, like he really social. No, he really this and that. No, some people just don't care. They're not. They don't analyze the way I do. You know what I'm saying? I'm also an extrovert. Like, I draw energy from the group. Because this is what an extrovert is. This is a scientific definition. It's not about whether you're comfortable around other people, because you could be uncomfortable because you perceive them as threatening. That doesn't make you an introvert, because threat is a different thing. We know we're talking about inhibition. We're talking about inhibition, this inhibition. I'm high inhibition. I constantly scan for threats. My amygdala system is overreactive. You know what I'm saying? It's constantly in threat mode. It's constantly in survival mode. It does not mean I'm not an extrovert, because you know what I'm saying, I draw energy from the group. I cannot stay alone. I hate being alone. So I'm an extrovert, I would say. But at the same time, high inhibition. ISO speed is more like an extrovert who is low inhibition.
Issues of men, but there's plenty of that. The world criticizes men. The world is hard on men. It's very rare that you see the world criticizing women.
No, is that really the case? I mean, even big celebrities like Madison Beer, bro, they getting hate. Like one of the biggest like female singers, bro. Is still getting hate. Like, they still getting. I don't see like how anybody actually escapes hate, regardless of gender. But yeah, I would say that if you're an attractive man, for example, doing social media, your brand is based on your face, then you're in for a tough journey, to be honest, because people would be constantly attacking you. I mean, regardless, you know what I'm saying? I'm not talking about myself. I don't give a damn, to be honest. It's just that I'm constantly thinking about what idiots say. It's not that it gets to me. You get what I'm saying? It's just that my mind cannot forget things. It cannot forget, like, for example, arguments. It cannot. It's like I get this sense of revenge. I get this sense of, you know what I'm saying, I want to destroy that person. You know what I'm saying? Because he made me feel like that. Even if it, you know what I'm saying, because he responded to me, because he did this, he did. I gotta force my dominance, just like they forced their dominance. It's not necessarily about being heard. You know what I'm saying? It's more like I cannot escape the thought in itself. So I gotta do something. That's what mind is telling me. Like, I cannot escape the thought. You gotta do something. You gotta hit this person back. You know what I'm saying? But it doesn't work. It almost never works. The thought still remains. The only way I could think of is reducing the significance attached to the thought. You notice the thought, but you let it pass. That's what I gotta say.
actual positive way with the solution. So let's circle back around. We women have an advantage in modern society that no one talks enough about. And the moment they do talk about it, it's called misogyny. So I'm going to go ahead and say right here, right now, if you believe I am a misogynist, by all means, call me a misogynist. Because if my beliefs in this video make me a misogynist, then I guess that's what I'll have to do.
Bro, like, I mean, bro, what is wrong with being a humanity hater, you know? But if you're just a gender hater, bro, I don't see, like, both genders are trash, to be honest, in their own respectives, but I'm a humanity hater, to be honest. I don't hate any gender specifically, I hate everybody, bro. Everybody, bro. Everybody's a fucking bitch ass motherfucker, bro. No, especially nowadays in current times, bro. I don't trust no motherfucker, man. Everybody's a fucking annoying ass, bro. No one wants you to succeed. Nobody, bro. Like, everybody's a fucking snake. You get what I'm saying? Like, I don't trust none of the y'all motherfuckers. I know I'm generalizing and all that, but like, when the percentage of people are like this is so fucking overwhelming, it's like, for all practical purposes, my generalization is justified. It's not that there aren't exceptions. It's not, but we're going by patterns now, right? Everybody's a fucking idiot. That's what I say.
The average woman doesn't even need to be over a 6, okay? The average woman can post anything about herself online, and the attention, the validation will just start rolling in, okay? Just the average day woman can receive more validation than a typical man in a year. She will receive more validation in a day than a typical man will in his entire year. What does this do to the human psyche? What does this do to the woman's brain? Women's brains are not wired the same as men's. I believe that our brains are weaker in certain areas than.
One thing I would say is that, bro, women don't care, bro. Like, I mean, even though they're getting all the attention in the world, they're getting all the validation, but they're not appreciating these things. It's like the power is falling on the wrong hands. They're not appreciating the validation. They're not appreciating the attention. They just don't care. Always motherfuckers giving attention to those who don't deserve it, giving power to the wrong person. Who can you blame in this case?
Men's. But what does this do? This has to be detrimental to our psyches, right? I mean, it really makes underqualified women believe and genuinely believe that they deserve so much more than they do. To put this illusion in their head that they are something that they're not. And they live like this, and they expect the world, they expect people to treat them like how they believe themselves to be, when in reality they're not even close to what they believe themselves to be. Social media and the people that react to the things, it's all an illusion. It's a dopamine hit, it's an illusion, and a lot of people are walking around.
What do you mean it's an illusion? What do you mean by that? The attention is real. What do you mean it's an illusion? What is an illusion? What part of social media is an illusion?
In my opinion, deluded about their own reality. Growing up, in my teenage and young adult years, I'm still a young adult, obviously, I'm 23, which should speak for a lot about what I'm going to say. I'm only 23, and I've seen endless times where I had friends, and they would be getting unlimited offers of money, dates, problem solving, advice, someone to talk to.
You must be living in the West, because this is where this bullshit is common, especially in America. I think you're American just from your accents.
You know, whatever it was from men, from people, just because they were a woman and nothing more, nothing less. Just because they were a woman, they were nothing, exceptionally attractive. They were nothing exceptionally intelligent. They were nothing exceptionally anything. It was just because they were a woman. And I noticed these things from a young age, how screwed up it was. A woman could get away with something that a man would never get away with. And I don't think that this is acceptable. Of course, women should not be treated the same as men in certain situations. But I think that.
What do you mean they shouldn't be treated? They should be treated better? Like, who gave you that superiority? That's more like a philosophy. It's not an objective truth. Like, someone should be treated better than someone, bro. Like, I mean, people can disagree. People can agree. There is probably an objective to this. But we don't have accessibility to that. For example, if I had power over everybody, like, is there anything that forces me like to treat these to treat y'all motherfuckers with respect or anything? Hell no, bro. Finna whoop the floor with y'all asses. Bro, there will be nothing forcing me because, from my perspective, morality depends on vulnerability. If I'm not vulnerable to your ass, bro, I'm gonna beat your ass. That's how it works.
The real issue I'm
I'm
getting
not even gonna hesitate to. I don't want to say no word, but you get the idea. You're not living still, bro.
today on this video is that such expectations and entitlement towards a certain type of treatment that they do not earn, that they do not deserve, and I think that is a huge detriment to society overall, as a whole. The problem of this example I gave, the woman posting on social media and getting all this attention, it's not
You're doing, bro. Like, do not ban me. I'm just trolling, okay?
receiving the attention itself that is the problem. The real problem with this is what happens when a person gets unlimited attention, which previous generations had to work very hard to earn. It just completely screws up your expectations, especially as a woman.
Bro, like, when you do so much work onto YouTube, like, when you're trying to be consistent, like, I'm not even doing that much effort, like, but I mean, some people like are doing so much effort, like they're not even getting the attention, and then there comes a hoe, bro, like 5 pictures half naked, bro, they getting all the attention in the world, and you're like, what the fuck is wrong with this world, bro? What is this disproportionate? You know what I'm saying? Like the delivery of attention. Like, what the fuck is this? You see how fucked up this world is, especially the Western bro mindset. Well, fucking hard the ass motherfuckers, bro. All the Sims, all these dirty ass, bro, depressed ass motherfuckers, bro. They jacking off on their basements. They depressed 24/7, bro. Like they paying for the OnlyFans just to, just to see that big booty and all that, bro. Like, get the fuck out of here, bro. These are the people that destroy the society, bro. Like, if you wanna get rid of someone, bro, get rid of this garbage first, bro. We can talk then. Go clean the garbage, bro. Go clean the mess up.
Key things that I want to talk about on this video are women keeping men as satellites. You know, one goes out, one loses signal with her. That's okay because she has 10 others that she's been keeping as satellites that she can ping when she needs. Number 2, unrealistic dating standards. Okay, 5, you do drugs. You don't take care of yourself. You post promiscuously constantly on Instagram.
Well, I never do drugs. Oh, fuck y'all, motherfucker. What are y'all talking about? Y'all doing drugs and all that? Bro, y'all retarded, bro. What's the point of that? Like, you're just destroying your mental health, bro. I never drink alcohol. I never smoked. I never. The only thing that I do is that I jerk off. Yeah, that's a problem as well, but I gotta get rid of this. But you get the idea. Like, I mean, it's not nearly as bad as what y'all do, though.
Use people for things all the time, and you believe you deserve a 6'5" millionaire. You know, most girls I talk to today, they actually think they deserve a man who makes $1 million a year minimum, 6 foot or above. This, they have a whole list. But in reality, they're bringing literally nothing to the table except one thing, and you guys know what that thing is. OnlyFans, selling you 99 cents in one click of a button. You know, this is actually insane, guys. We've all seen this on social media. We all know these things. But
Add nothing to the table, and so other men do, bro. They don't add nothing, bro. They dirty as shit, bro. Like they just wanna fuck, bro. A lot of them, bro. They don't add nothing to the table either. Like, what do you need a damn ass motherfucker for? Who just wanna fuck? Like, what do you need a damn ass for, bro? Ain't got no, you know what I'm saying? Ain't got no knowledge to provide. Ain't got no wisdom to. You know what I'm saying? To teach, ain't got nothing. Like, what do you need a damn ass motherfucker like that for? Most motherfuckers are like this with this generation, bro, especially in the world, like, fucked up brains, overstimulated, they're retarded as fuck, because all they watch is these short ass clips. All they watch is these shorts that destroy the attention span. Like you'll find that they don't know nothing. When it comes to knowledge and all their general knowledge, they don't know almost nothing, bro. They're retarded in a sense. I'm using this word constantly, but that's not what retarded mean. If we're trying to be precise, because I'm just making these videos just to try to be a bit entertaining and all that, right? So, but if we're being rigorous, then that's not what retarded is. Retarded is about intelligence, and you can't really measure someone's intelligence. You know what I'm saying? In a broad sense. I'm not talking about IQ specifically. I'm talking in a broad sense. And you cannot, and most importantly, you cannot infer it. You cannot infer it from just observing someone. You need evidence. You need measurement.
Actually take a second to think about what is happening and what is going on, it's crazy. We were never meant to be this way. The world is breaking in front of our face. And women, we have a lot to answer to for this because we are contributing more than you guys think and more than you actually take responsibility for. Women, if you're watching this video and you disagree with something I'm saying already, I want you to think about the last time you went to work and you were scared to make a joke because you might be reported for that joke and lose your entire job and ruin your reputation.
Depends on what type of the joke, bro. Because these motherfuckers, bro, they going too far with these jokes. Of course, since you're talking about being reported, I know what you're already thinking about. Something it looks like harassment from the sexual side. I know what are you thinking about?
Can you ever have a scenario where that happened to you? Because I can't. But I'm pretty sure most average men have to think about that. They have to think about the way they say things. They have to think about the jokes they make. Because if they do one wrong thing and offend one wrong woman, that woman can go with no evidence to the boss and get him fired and ruin his entire life. That's how much power we have that you modern day women don't recognize. You constantly play victim, not realizing you have so much unfair advantage that you don't even use in a positive way. A lot of women use this unfair advantage to ruin people's lives and they have no remorse about it. Women, including myself, I'm not perfect by any means. I don't want to come across in a way that makes me seem like I think I'm perfect because I know I'm not perfect. I've learned lessons. That's how I am able to sit here and have these thoughts because I've observed and I have, taken accountability and taken responsibility for my actions in the past. That's the only way I'm able to come.
But who can you blame the shit for? Like, who can you blame in this case? Western society, bro. That's all you gotta blame. They're fucked up, bro. And it's not just the West. It's also the East. It's also like almost everywhere in the world. Like socially, women are treated better. Like females. I'm not trying to reduce. Like a lot of people, like when I say females, males, it's like you think of it as a derogatory term, but it's just a biological classification because not every woman is a female, but every female is a woman. So this is the reason why I keep using the terms male, female. Yeah, but socially, like you are usually treated better. Look, just in schools, bro. Like in school, like most teachers they don't even hear women. Like, how about the females? I would say males they are getting hit like constantly. Like, well, how is this fair? Get out of here, bro.
Conclusion. So don't take it the wrong way. I know I'm not perfect. No one is perfect.
Perfect in what sense? Perfect in what sense? Because I'm perfect. I'm perfect in tic-tac-toe, though. in knowing the perfect strategy, not in executing it every single time. Because I can sometimes fail, but I'm perfect in the sense of knowing the perfect tic-tac-toe strategy, right? I have a perfect mental representation of the perfect strategy, right? So I'm perfect internally, but externally try to apply that strategy. I'm bound by biological constraints, say forgetting, misclicking, etc.
Of me making this video is so that you might be able to open your eyes and learn act differently in the future and be grateful for the advantages that you do have by result of the new society in the modern world and what they push. You don't have to use these things to take advantage of other people and to ruin other people's lives. Most modern women, they're living almost thinking like a child through life. Women are very childlike, and I do think that this plays into something that is a blessing for us. We are supposed to be more innocent. We are supposed to be more happy. We're not supposed to have the same stresses and struggles as a man. But the problem is that
Why not? Why not? Fuck no, bro. I don't agree with that. It depends on who. Like, if you want to stress, you want struggles. That's how it depends, bro. I don't want to go through that shit, and nothing forces me. Being a male or whatever, that doesn't mean shit, man. It's all about like what you want. It's all about values for me. Like, do you value hard work versus not? Do you want pain versus not? Like, get the fuck out of here, bro. No, nobody wants pain, bro. Like, if you can get if you can get the bag without pain, bro. Most people like what they would choose their way. That's because they don't have an option. That's why a lot of people they go through a lot just to earn their bag. It's about the lack of options, not because they like that. I mean, yeah, there are some people, but I say that it don't constitute the majority.
the modern women and the way that society is encouraging women to think and to act is to constantly be on attack towards a man, just for the man existing. And we don't realize the advantages that we inherently have without even trying. If you sit down and think about it, the average everyday man goes to a 9 to 5 job that he doesn't want to work at because he has to provide for his family. And he goes there all day, puts up with the boss's stuff, puts up with the customer stuff, does what he needs to do, just home to a wife who doesn't want to give him personal affections ever. She always complains, she always has a headache, she always has a problem. And he comes home to kids that don't respect him because the mom never instills discipline into the children, and she's always self-centered about herself and worried about what's going on with her. That most women don't actually pour anything into anybody else except themselves. Modern day women. Of course, general terms here, always exceptions to the rule. But overall, this is what's happening, especially in the Western society. Do you have to think about those things? Do you, as a woman, go to your job, come home, put up with people who disrespect you, who don't want to serve you? No, you don't. And even if you work a job that drains you, you're still getting constant validation, attention, and offers from men in the outside world just because you're a woman. Men don't get that. Put that in your head. You are born a woman, you are born with an unfair advantage. Be grateful for it. Stop complaining. The world is trying to divide us because they want us to break and to fall apart. The original structure for humanity was always that the man's going to protect and provide, and the woman will give him support and children.
It's not an objective though. It's not an objective structure. That's a man-made structure. Yeah, it's based on biological differences, physiological differences, psychological differences, but individual differences can override that. So it's not really an objective rule that you gotta follow. And even if it's based on a good basis, it doesn't have to be followed. That's the thing. Because it doesn't necessarily mean that women are incapable. And even if they are incapable, like someone could say no, they have to, regardless, because due to equality. So it's about different values, right? Some people would say like it's about the structure, like the roles, like I mean the evolutionary roles. Some people would say that it's about equality. Everyone's gonna work, has to work. So it's they're holding the same thing to different standards.
And this is just completely broken apart. You know, the woman might give a man children now, but support, no. She will be miserable. She will be constantly asking for more while not being grateful for what she has. And the man,
No, this is not necessary. As I said, it depends on what type. It depends on a lot of things, but usually, like people are used to wanting more. It's hard for them to be satisfied. They always try to look for more. That's why there is cheating a lot. I mean, these people like they are still hungry for more. So that's why they cheat. That's why they go for. That's why hypergamy exists. That's why some females they tend to go for males who are educationally and financially better than the ones they were with. And that's why Ines Garcia cheated on her boyfriend for 5 years just to be with Lamine Mall, for
is
example.
expected to keep providing, keep performing, keep protecting. while getting nothing in return because the woman is ungrateful, entitled, and complaining all the time. That is the average experience of the daily man. And the average experience of the daily woman is nothing like that. Even
You gotta understand something, bro. When a female like this, bro, like, was already like fairly attractive, like, she comes on a video, she complains, like, she complains about women trying to please men, right? So, or she criticizes women trying to please men, try to please this insane amount of her men, this insane amount of insecure men, right? She would automatically give validation because they'd be like, because if it's a man talking about these things, it may be ignored. But because if it's a woman, because it's very rare to find a woman acknowledging like the struggles of the other side, and vice versa, a man acknowledging the struggles of the women, you find that motherfuckers, they instantly supportive, they instantly, you know what I'm saying, they're there, you know what I'm saying, they're present here, they want to get the attention, they want to get fucking motherfuckers, bro.
if you think you're miserable, you have no real misery to compare your misery to, if that makes sense. Most modern day women always have the backup plan of selling their for 99 cents on OnlyFans. Men don't even have that option, and I'm not promoting that. But you have that option because society is so broken that it's put women on this pedestal of idolatry towards degenerate people, and women take advantage of that all the time. Women have no self-respect for themselves, but they complain that no man respects them enough. They want the best man when they're not the best person. They want the best man when they're literally like a street prostitute online. And to bring me to my next point, I am so tired of women thinking that they're inherently born with all this value that they should be chased and sought after and invested into, when in reality there's no difference between most modern day women and hookers, because most modern day women use men for dates, for free dinners, use men to pay for their nails, use men for their weed. They are hopping from man to man to get free things, and in my opinion that's no different than a hooker. You're just not presenting yourself that way, but you're doing the exact same things, which in result lowers your value because your integrity is shot. Just watch any podcast online where the average girl will talk about the man that she wants. You know, top 1%, 6'5", owns a yacht, lives in Miami, this and that. She will talk about all these things that she wants and how high her standards are, but at the same time, the second she leaves that podcast, what is she gonna go do? She's gonna go hit up her satellites for free weed and free dinner, just like a hooker. So all these things that she wants and how high her standards are, but at the same time, the second she leaves that podcast, what is she gonna go do? She's gonna go hit up her satellites for free weed and free dinner, just like all these things that she wants and how high her standards are, but at the same time, the second she leaves that podcast, what is she gonna go do? She's gonna go hit up her satellites for free weed and free dinner. You mean
satellites? You mean the guys or something? You mean the simps?
Just like a hooker. So it doesn't even make sense. Women don't actually hold themselves to the standards that they set for the partner that they want. Which also links to women are always complaining about how there's no weed and free dinner. Just like a hooker. All these things that she wants and how high her standards are, but at the same time, the second she leaves that podcast, what is she gonna do? She's gonna go hit up her satellites for free weed and free dinner. Just like a hooker. So it doesn't even make sense. Women don't actually hold themselves to the standards that they set for the partner that they want. Which also links to women are always complaining about how there's no men good enough to marry. But in reality, feminists are the thing that created that. You know, feminists said that we don't want to get married anymore. We want to be independent. Girl boss, this and that. And men said, okay, you want that? All right. So now men aren't getting married because there's so much at risk for men when they get married. There's nothing at risk for the woman when she gets married. Most women don't even want kids, which is what's the point of getting married if you don't want kids? I don't understand. And the feminists that do want to get
it's to live with the partner. It doesn't have to be. It doesn't have to involve the kids. It's to live with a partner, right? Well, you can still live technically without being married, but getting married, but you know what I'm saying? Like when you get married, it involves much more risk, right? So I mean, you know what I'm saying, divorce or breakup involves much more risk. That's why, you know what I'm saying, like people usually tend to stay longer, like when they get married, when they commit. Then if it's just like a casual relationship, but it doesn't mean you're immune still for breakup and all that. But I would say yeah, some people just do it for the same reason as with a relationship, just because they want sex, they want romance, they want a partner, right? They want to share their lives with someone.
Married, they want to get married to the top 1%, and they don't even give the average, everyday, hardworking man a chance. The men building your roads, the men building your houses, the men working hard every single day, the men that will actually be an amazing husband, modern day women don't even look at, don't even give a chance, just because they're so entitled and they put so much value onto themselves just because. And it bothers me how society constantly talks about male privilege. If you open up TikTok for any amount of time, it will be a matter of minutes before you come across a video of women complaining about how she has a disadvantage in the workforce or a disadvantage in life and how it's not fair and she's tired of this, she's tired of that. But it's so humorous to me to hear those things because in reality it's switched. It's the opposite. And I believe so many women don't see that. Do you guys remember that trend where women were choosing the bear over men? It was where women said that they would rather be alone in the woods with a bear rather than a man. The irony is that the same society that even allowed you women to have that opinion to begin with was built by men. The roads you drive on, the bridges you cross, the house that you're living in, the electricity lines that bring power into your home, the water that you drink, the firefighters that run into burning buildings to save you, the construction workers that hang off of skyscrapers to build buildings to bring you business, and the endless amounts of men who died in ditches for your freedom are the same people that you criticize constantly and demonize. And it's sick that somehow we've managed to grow into a sick, twisted society where the thought of even comparing a man to a bear became a trend. Are there bad men? Of course there are bad men. There's bad people in every single group. If I was to point out a certain degenerate behavior or bad person of a race, of a certain race, that would be called racism. But women, you think it's okay to group all men into a category of bad.
Who is that racist? I mean, people would think that, but I mean, bad people exist in every race. I mean, pointing that someone is bad as an individual, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's different than pointing that an entire race is bad or that discriminating against an entire race. It's not the same. And you're just making a remark whether someone is good or bad. Like, you're not dehumanizing or anything. That's different.
And compare them to a wild animal, you don't think that's insane? Look at the double standard there. That's another example of your unfair behavior or bad person of a race, of a certain race. That would be called racism. But women, you think it's okay to group all men into a category of bad and compare them to a wild animal? You don't think that's insane? Look at the double standard there. That's another example of your unbehavior or bad person of a race, of a certain race. That would be called racism. But women, you think it's okay to group all men into a category of bad and compare them to a wild animal? You don't think that's insane? Look at the double standard there. That's another example of your unfair advantage in.
A better comparison would be like pointing to a bad woman, something like, for example, like committed something bad, like murder and all that, right? And then saying that all women are bad, all women this. It would be a better comparison than talking about racism, in my opinion, because it's more similar, right? It's a symmetric analogy.
Society. You get to judge a whole other gender just because you're a woman and you don't get called out for it. The average man isn't your enemy. So stop thinking that. I'm tired of seeing women complaining about men all over social media. Stop being this way. It is not healthy to you. It is not healthy to anybody. And it is not healthy to the children that you are bringing up to think the same way. These men are your husbands, your brothers, your fathers, the man fixing your power after a storm, the man helping the world run so that you can live your pretty little life every single day. A society that teaches women to fear men, the very people who built and maintain the society that we live in, it's a society that has grown much too far into its entitlement.
Do you mean fear or respect? Because I would say respect, because you cannot just fear someone. Fear is usually like you don't control fear, but you control respect. When you give respect is different than fear, because you don't choose to fear a bear. You fear it because it's more aggressive. You fear it because it's stronger than you. It can harm you, right? So you can't force yourself to fear someone, like, but you can respect them, right? I mean, you can treat them with respect. You can, you know what I'm saying? You cannot, you can, for example, like not cross their boundaries. You can not disrespect them. That's what I gotta say. Anyways, if you like this live, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe if you're new. And I'm